The Lonely Lover, a psychological character study and thriller about a depressed gamer whose loneliness twists into obsession. It's dark, introspective, and explores isolation, identity, and blurred morality. Gatsky spent most of his life in the shadows, socially invisible, emotionally starved, and quietly ambitious. In his early 20s, he had a spark, a growing stream, a promising code project, the faint flicker of recognition. For a moment, it felt like life might begin, but it didn't. A partnership betrayed him. A project was stolen. Viewers left. He was almost seen, and then discarded. That brief taste of connection made the isolation that followed unbearable. His mental state fractured under the weight of rejection, obscurity, and failure. That's when The Lonely Lover was born. A voice that whispered, "They never loved you, but she will." A voice that turned heartbreak into destiny and pain into poetry. A voice that made obsession feel like devotion. So when Gatsky found Maya, kind, present, unaware of the storm behind the screen, it wasn't love. It was relief, an addiction, a beautiful lie. And he was ready to make sure it would never be taken away again. Gatsky spends his life behind screens, locked away in his apartment, buried in games and code. One night, a new viewer appears in his chat, Maya. She's warm, curious, persistent, and kind. Something fractures. The Lonely Lover awakens. Gats roars for action, and Gatsky begins to disappear. The voices in his head echoes. The Lonely Lover speaks in poetic, romanticized language. He sees Gatsky obsession as fate, love, and destiny. He dreams in sonnets and justifies every violation as devotion. Gats, impulsive, bitter, and reactive, speaks like a gamer, blunt and raw, sees people as liars or enemies, wants control, power, and dominance over Maya and others. Gatsky, the original voice, cautious and rational, still clinging to morality. He knows what's happening is wrong, but is slowly overpowered by the others. The only light in the room came from Gatsky's monitor, soft and ghostly, casting long shadows across empty energy drink cans. On his stream, nothing much was happening, just another quiet night with 2 viewers. Then a new notification blinked. New follower, Maya Fox 92. Her message came right after.
Hey, love your voice. You seem super genuine.
Gatsky froze. She sees the real you, whispered The Lonely Lover, his voice like silk and candlelight. She's playing you, bro. Track her, get in control, growled Gats, all muscle and paranoia. It's just a comment, mumbled Gatsky, faint, uncertain. Don't read into it. But the damage was done. One browser tab opened, then another, then 10. Her Twitter, her dog's name, her tagged location. Gatsky watched himself typing, "Thanks for being here. You make the stream better." But inside, The Lonely Lover was already writing poems. Gats was drawing maps, and Gatsky was sinking into the background, quieter with every passing heartbeat. Gatsky hit enter, then leaned back in his chair, heart thumping harder than any boss fight ever had. Maya's reply came fast.
Are you kidding? I love chill streams like this. You don't try too hard. You're just real.
His hand trembled slightly on the mouse. The Lonely Lover leaned in, voice velvet smooth. She sees the soul they all ignored. This is more than a viewer. This is fate. Gats scoffed, but there was tension in his tone. She's soft, sweet, easy to control if you move smart. Play it cool, then move in. Gatsky felt himself sinking again. She's just being nice. People are nice sometimes. Another message popped in.
Also, you're insane at this game. That last move. I don't even know how you survived that boss. Hey, why do you have so few followers? You should have thousands. You're better than half the people I watch.
That one hit different. The years of obscurity, of giving everything, receiving nothing, of streaming to silence. The Lonely Lover was practically singing now. She sees your worth. The others walked past treasure and she knelt to admire it. She's not just a viewer, she's the one who stayed. Another message appeared.
You ever think of doing voiceover work or something? Your voice is actually kind of addictive.
Gat's key frozen in place. The screen blurred at the edges, not from tears, from pressure, from the voices pressing in all at once. Gats, she's obsessed. She just doesn't know it yet. Gat's key. Don't go too far, just enjoy it. Don't ruin this. The Lonely Lover. This is the beginning of everything. Don't let her go. Not like the others. Gatsky typed, "That means a lot. I don't really hear stuff like that. You're kind of rare, Maya." She replied with a heart emoji. And with that, a new addiction was born. Not to a game, not to a screen, but to a stranger who smiled through pixels and unknowingly gave life to a ghost called the Lonely Lover. The heart emoji glowed pink on the screen. Gatsky stared at it like it meant something, because to him, to them, it did. The Lonely Lover stirred from the depths, his voice now a slow, echoing hum inside Gatsky's mind. Yes, and this is how it begins. A touch of kindness, no whisper of recognition, and the world blooms again. The room around Gatsky faded. The loneliness, the stench of stale food, the flicker of cracked screens, all fell away. In his mind, she was already sitting across from him, their hands nearly touching over a candlelit desk, her soft laughter tangled in his web of love. She hears your soul in the static. She stays while the world turns its back. Gats cut in with a grunt, less poetic but no less excited. She's all in, man. Keep the rhythm. Lock it in. She wants this. Gatsky's fingers hovered above the keyboard, hesitant. The moment felt like ice. Fragile, beautiful, too easy to crack. He typed slowly. You have no idea how much it means to hear that. Most people leave. You stayed. A pause. Then,
Well, yeah. I like you, Gatsky. You're not like the others. You're real, and kind of charming, even if you don't know it.
that was it. A match to gasoline. The Lonely Lover exhaled like he had just been kissed for the first time in 100 years. There it is. Affection, admiration, hope. She's giving you her heart in puzzle pieces, and soon it will be yours, whole and trembling. In Gatsky's mind, she was already his, already with him. Not in a stalker's fantasy, no. In a love story the world would never understand. She had found the stream, but he had found her. And now that she'd opened the door, even just a little, the Lonely Lover would never let her leave it closed again. For the first time in weeks, Gatsky's screen didn't feel cold. The soft pink of Maya's heart emoji still glowed in the chat window like a dying star rekindling itself. The Lonely Lover was quiet now, not gone, just satisfied, watching, savoring. She brings warmth, doesn't she? He whispered gently, like breath on glass. Your world has color again. And strangely, he wasn't wrong. Gatsky blinked and noticed things he hadn't before. The LED strip he hadn't touched in months suddenly felt too dim. He tapped his phone and shifted the color. Deep blues faded to soft amber, like candlelight licking the corners of the room. The clutter didn't disappear, but the shadows did. Dust particles floated like stars in a galaxy he'd forgotten to admire. Gatsky looked around, confused by this soft blooming in his chest. Why does this feel like something changing? Gat scoffed in the background. You're just high on attention. It's temporary. Stay sharp. But Gatsky ignored him for once, because something had shifted, and not just inside his mind. He opened a playlist he hadn't touched in months. Lo-fi, gentle and romantic, pulsed into the room like a heartbeat. In the chat, Maya was still typing.
I'm gonna grab food, but I'll be back. Don't disappear on me.
The wink lingered like perfume in the air. Gatsky smiled, a real one. I won't, he typed. I'll be here. The Lonely Lover leaned in from the dark, arms open like a ghost embracing its vessel. You see now, Gatsky. She's the color in your grayscale, the light in your dungeon, the final level in a life no one let you play. And in that moment, Gatsky believed it, not in God, not in hope, but in her. He looked down and saw one missed message from Maya.
There's this cozy spot I love, Moon's Diner. I always sit by the window if they let me. Kinda my little escape.
Moon's Diner. He read it 3 times, a name, an anchor, a place. In a world of usernames and data, she had just given him a real location. Gats chuckled from the back of his skull. Well, looks like she dropped a waypoint. Gatsky hesitated. She didn't mean it like that. But the lonely lover had already stood up.